Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everyone to this meeting of the Boston Art Commission. My name is Birgit Worster, and I'm the Director of Public Art in the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture. In that capacity, I'm also the Director of the Boston Art Commission. Let's all take a moment to update our names and pronouns, as well as make sure we're muted. In accordance with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, we are conducting this meeting virtually. As a reminder, this was extended through 2026. To ensure public access to the deliberations of the Boston Art Commission, the public can join this meeting through telephone and video conferencing. For those of you with us today, this meeting is being recorded and closed captioning is available. You can access it at the bottom of the screen. If you have trouble locating the button, please chat us for assistance. The Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture and the Boston Art Commission believe that public art is any artwork installed in publicly accessible spaces where they can be experienced by everyone for free. For transparency and community input, artworks proposed for City of Boston property are reviewed and discussed at public meetings of the Boston Art Commission, the BAC, on a regular, usually monthly basis. Working together with the public art team in the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture, the Boston Art Commission is an independent board composed of 2 ex officio and 7 volunteer community members appointed by the mayor. The BAC has exclusive authority to approve and commission artworks intended to be added to the city's collection or be placed on city property. The public art team in MOAC facilitates the Boston Art Commission public meetings and manages all phases, daily operations, and duties related to public art projects cited on or proposed for City of Boston property in collaboration with the Boston Art Commission, community members, and colleagues at the City of Boston. And here's some of our team. I'll pass it to you, John.
Thanks so much, Birgit, and welcome everyone. I call this public hearing to order at 4:32 p.m. Today, the Commission is holding its monthly public meeting, which are generally held on the second Tuesday of every month. We engage in discussions about public art in Boston in order to foster the creation and collection of artworks that reflect the people, ideas, histories, and futures of Boston, which is located on the traditional homeland of the Massachusetts people and the neighboring Wampanoag and Nipmuc peoples. We acknowledge the atrocities committed against Indigenous peoples, all of the communities that have been subsequently harmed, and the ways in which colonialism has created systemic oppression. We recognize the continuing presence of these communities and the Indigenous peoples represented in the city's residents, in addition to those in the diaspora. We also recognize that Boston exists as a result of the forced labor and economic extraction from enslaved African Americans. I'll now take roll call of commissioners to confirm a quorum. After I state your name, Commissioner, please say here. I begin with Vice Chair James Mason.
Here.
Caitlin Lowry.
Here.
Kenny Mascari.
Here.
Abigail Norman.
Here.
And neither Ian nor Nigel were able to join us today, but we do have a quorum. On this slide, you'll see today's agenda, which is also posted publicly on the city's website, boston.gov. We'll now take a few minutes to review the meeting minutes from last month's June meeting. Are there any comments or modifications any commissioner would like to make? Hearing none, would any commissioner like to make a motion to approve the June meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the June meeting minutes.
Thanks, Caitlin. Could I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, James. After I say your name, Commissioner, please say yes if you agree with the motion. James?
Yes.
Caitlin?
Yes.
Kenny?
Yes.
Abigail?
I abstain. I was absent.
Okay, thanks, Abigail. And I vote yes as well, so the motion carries. I'll now pass back to Birgit, who'll highlight presentations for public review and give the director's report next.
Great, thank you, John. Today's agenda includes the following presentations for review. The community art posts, a long-term installation, will be presenting for artist selection. It's at Dudley-Kenilworth Pocket Park in Roxbury. And Sonic Titan, long-term mural as part of a canvas of culture, is presenting for Accessioning. Star Gathers, another long-term mural as part of Canvas of Culture, is also presenting for Accessioning. And And For the Dreamers, a long-term mural as part of a canvas of culture, will be presenting final design for Mattahunt Elementary School. For administrative review and recommendations, we have the Peace Poles, temporary installations for final design at a site in Dorchester, and Better Angels, a temporary sculpture installation for final design with 2 locations at Christopher Columbus Park and in the North End and Copley Square Park in Back Bay. And now for projects in fabrication and installation, Wen T Sen's worker statues figures are currently undergoing the patination process at the foundry. The artist is working closely with Skylight Studios to coordinate the fabrication of the stone elements to be paired with each figure. Sites are currently under review for installation planning and approvals to be shared with the BAC once those are developed. And this is an exciting month as many of our design-only commissions from Canvas of Culture artists move into production. Their original concepts are now being brought to life through mosaic tile, vinyl murals, and acoustic panels. Soon our team will get a behind-the-scenes look at the process during a site visit to Archaic, a local mosaic fabricator producing and installing Quest 9's design at Sarah Roberts Elementary. We'll explore how the artist's vision is translated into a finished installation. These projects are on track for completion before the school year begins in September, welcoming students back with new artwork integrated into their school's infrastructure. And in full bloom, Artist Tory Fair's series of small cast bronze sculptures for Copley Square Park has a midpoint fabrication scheduled for later this week, and the Parks Department will join us for a final site visit to Copley Square in early August, with installation planned for August 18th to 19th, tentatively. For the Copley Square Public Art Projects and Design, Sasaki is working with Boston Parks and Recreation to identify 2 potential locations for the paver and walkway artwork. Planning around Daniela Gross George's engraved poem for Copley Square, How Many Kinds of Love, has also resumed. Moak will now manage the design and installation of both the poem and the custom light pole for Trace, a light projection by Adam Frank. Moak is preparing to procure design services for the poem and aims to bring both engraved projects through to the BAC for preliminary design review before the fall. Adam Frank is finalizing design materials with the goal of presenting them before the fall as well. For events, on June 11th, Josiah Quincy Elementary School held an end-of-year celebration along with a dedication and ribbon-cutting ceremony to mark the completion of Star Gatherers by Yuke Lee on the school's outdoor play deck. The mural stands as a visual narrative of immigration, education, community identity, and student growth, and has been lovingly received by the students and school community. The play deck will continue to serve as a gathering and play space used daily among the students. It was a joyful event, and we were glad that the OLP was able to document this part of Yuki's project as well. On June 5th, our team also held a celebration for Color is Meant to Hold Us by Destiny Palmer at the Vine Street Community Center in Roxbury. Drawing on vintage floral patterns from the 50s and 60s, the vinyl mural uses color as a way to evoke memory, spark storytelling, and connect members across different backgrounds for years to come. Members of the community center also had a dance performance, and there was a wonderful turnout for this event to celebrate Destiny's work. And now I'd like to take a few minutes to share an overview of the Boston Art Commission annual report for fiscal year 2026. The complete report can be found in the folder for this meeting. We have activity for fiscal year 26. In this fiscal year, MOAC authorized funds to initiate 12 new long-term public art projects, and work continued for 19 ongoing projects from previous fiscal years, for a total of 30 active projects for the team. Of these, 9 projects were accessioned or completed in fiscal year, with 21 projects that are still ongoing. And as you read through this report, you can also find more specific financial information about the funding sources for these projects and what was expended in this year. In fiscal year 26, there were 16 active collections maintenance projects as well, 15 of which have been completed, and the remaining project plan for 2026 is now scheduled to be completed in 27 to coordinate with some public facilities work that's being done at City Hall Plaza. I'll share a few highlights from fiscal year 2026 here. We have DeWitt Playground at Madison Park by Team Play, made up of Marlon Forrester and Studio Luz Architects. This project was funded by Percent for Art and incorporated graphic fence panels commemorating heroes and significant historical figures, shade structures at the basketball court sidelines, and painted sidelines designed by Marlon Forrester. And here's a little bit about the artist team. Next, we have Star Gatherers, Yuke Lee, which is here for accessioning, that was done through Capital Percent for Art projects at Boston Public Schools. Yuke worked really closely with the school community and incorporated a lot of the community to paint the mural as well. So I think it will be treasured by the school for years to come. And next is a slide of Yuke and a full image of that work. For our collection, here's a selection of projects and initiatives we've done this in fiscal year 26. The public art map was launched and has been continued to be updated as projects are completed so that people can access the work. And we will put a link to the chat, a link in the chat for the annual report. It's also will be in the folder, the commissioners' folders. And for sessions in fiscal year 2026, we have a selection of works shown here, including Vine Street BCYF, Canvas of Culture murals at the Carter School, DeWitt Playground, Beethoven Elementary, the newly renovated Sarah Roberts School in Roslindale, and the newly built William Carter School, as mentioned. We have many projects still in progress shown here, including the projects at Copley Square discussed, Circles of Light at Adam Street Branch Library, Emergent Memory, Coconut Grove Memorial, which is slated to be installed in late August of this year, Daniela Gross George poem, which was mentioned earlier in the director's report, My Roxbury by Jenny Sabin, Bookmarked, a very long-awaited project at the Mattapan Branch Library, which we've resumed fabrication on, and the Frederick Douglass Memorial as well, and along with other Canvas of Culture murals, Wendy's worker statues, and as I mentioned, some additional projects at Copley. And then we have Canvas of Culture projects that will be accessioned hopefully very soon this evening, and other ones that are in fabrication and installation currently for this late summer, early fall. We have initiatives that we began in 2026 that are ongoing, including the Artist in Residence program, which has resumed in its program development to be launched later this year. Unmonument, a $3 million grant-funded program through the Mellon Foundation, which continues through the end of this calendar year, and our ongoing conservation and maintenance work with Daedalus as our conservation house doctor. And we've started a signage program to develop clear and concise signage standards for public art in Boston. We're working with Signals as a consultant to develop graphic standards and launch a pilot program for selected projects to be rolled out across the collection in years to come. And then Bloomberg Connects, we commissioned some short videos for a series highlighting Boston's artistic and cultural diversity. They feature two forms of content, some with artists the city has been working with, and some spotlighting civic heroes who are sharing their thoughts on public art in Boston. And we look forward to carrying these initiatives and ongoing projects forward into this fiscal year 2027, as well as launching new projects to come. And now I'll pass it back to you, John.
Thanks so much, Birgit. It's really great to see that sort of sweeping overview of everything that's been done in the past fiscal year. And congrats to the MOAC team, all of you, for helping to usher in so many amazing projects. Really, really well done. We'll now move on to the items on the agenda for review, public testimony, and commission vote. Here you'll see how you can participate in today's meeting. If you have technical difficulties, you can ask questions in the chat and a member of staff will help you. When public testimony is requested, you can press the raise your hand icon and we'll call on you. And if you're calling in, press *9 to raise your hand.
Our goal is to make this meeting a good experience for all so that community members feel comfortable sharing their feedback and questions. When you're called on, please state your name, title, program, organization. Please keep questions and comments project specific. Be mindful and respectful of other people's time when speaking so that other participants feel comfortable adding their comments. You can submit longer written testimony to bac@boston.gov. All written testimony will be added to commissioner folders in advance of monthly public meetings. While you may disagree, something popped in front of my screen. There we are. While you may disagree, and I'll say that one more time because there's a rhythm to it. While you may disagree with other attendees' testimony, you may not interrupt them during their allotted time. And as a reminder, presenters should keep their presentation time under 5 minutes.
Thanks so much, James. Our first project for deliberation tonight is community art posts, and I'll pass to Amber Torres for an introduction.
Thank you. Publicly proposed long-term projects have 3 required Boston Art Commission reviews: artist selection, preliminary design, and final design, which focuses more on the technical components. This is the first of 3 presentations for the community art posts at Dudley-Kenilworth Pocket Park. Tongue twister. Their team submitted a public art and design proposal form very early on in the process and has been working closely with me over the past couple of months in preparation for this meeting. I do just want to add a note that we heavily encourage and strongly encourage folks to get in touch as early in the process as possible once funding is secured. And you can submit as much information as you have, and we can work with you as you develop the project over time. I am at this point excited to invite Greensmith, General Partner's Office, and the Copper Collective to share more about the project and selected artists. And I'm passing it to Minku Kong. Minku, are you here?
There are about 4 Minkus in the attendee, so trying to figure out which one's which.
Yes, hello, I'm here.
Great.
Sorry about the mix-up. So I'm sure the other Minkus they might be using my link to access the meeting, so that maybe that's why. And we have the participating artists along the call. Sorry, I'll turn on my video. So it'll be good to add them as panelists as well. So thank you, Amber. Hello, and thank you for your time, commissioners and the members of the BAC. My name is Minku Kang. I'm the designer and the project manager of the Dudley-Kenilworth Pocket Park project. As you can see on the screen, this is the plan view of the project. Next, please. I've put together a list of things to give you a project overview about what the actual Pocket Park project is, and also what the art post is, which is a critical part of the Pocket Park, and how we have conducted our work around selecting artists and also creating awareness about this project and opportunity. Next, please. So to talk about the park, the location is right at the heart of Roxbury. It's at the intersection of Dudley and Kenilworth Street, where you can see there on the red dot. It is about 10-minute walking distance from the Roxbury Crossing Orange Line T station, and also about 5 minutes from the from other city centers. So next slide, please. Currently, where the site is, it's a very large and wide intersection that has very limited protection for pedestrians. It is often used as illegal parking area, and when it snows, it becomes a very dangerous intersection. So as part of our project, we have proposed to the City of Boston to put together a park and also improve the sidewalk conditions of this site. Next slide, please. So as you can see, the red line shows the current sidewalk edge. The dotted line shows the size of the park, which is about 3,000 square feet, and the layout of what we're proposing. Next slide, please. So the park is a part of the community benefit of the new construction of a condominium next door. That's a 3-story building. The construction of the condominium is about 85% complete, and now we're moving on to working on the pocket park. Currently, next slide, please. The pocket park includes about 8 new tall trees. It will have a landscape buffer to give more to get divided from the condominium project, and also provide more new accessible ramp access points at the edge. And also it comes with a landscape buffer. Next slide, please. This is the rendering of the park, and as you can see, in addition to the seating areas, the art posts become a really key feature of the park. Next slide, please. The park itself gains really strong support from the community, and also part of that reason is because we propose to have this art post as an idea for creative to give opportunities for creatives for the local creatives, and also to reference from the Boston Colonial milestones, which is still present in the neighborhood. Next slide, please. So as a homage to that, we are proposing a 7 feet tall, 3 feet wide, and about 6-inch thick structure that is made of granite stone slabs as a post, and then to have to use it as a canvas for future artwork. Next slide, please. Again, we've got unanimous support from the community, and also this is the MOU that has been signed and agreed with the public, with the PIC of the City of Boston, agreeing the usage of the land and its conversion to the park. Next slide, please. The project also received funding from the CPA, the Community Preservation Office, for the creation of this park. Next slide, please. And again, this is a signed support letter from the Councilor at Large, Henry Santana, highlighting the emphasis on the enthusiastic support that we have received from the community and the excitement. Next slide, please. So in terms of the artist selection process, we started very early. We had the first call for, as soon as we got the approvals from the community and also from the CPA, and we gained more certainty that this project is going to happen, we immediately put together a call for artist submission in November 10th and reached out to Amber at the Boston Art Commission to work out the artist selection process. We have completed a first virtual info session in January 30th this year, followed by a second call for artists just to expand the pool. We've reviewed the artwork for about a month and a half, and then had an artist selected in April 10th, and then also hosted a community meeting, which we also again gained a lot of support. Next slide, please. To give you a little bit of detail on the selection criteria, we have clarified the review criteria in the call for artists, highlighting the importance of celebrating local identity and creativity. Next slide, please. This is a snapshot of and an overview of the submissions that we received. We received quite wide variance from clothing, from character design, to sculptures and installations. Next slide, please. And after receiving all these applications, we've put together a team to review, inviting Copper Collective, which is a local agency. We've put together this table of 6 categories, sorry, looking into the community and collaboration, creativity, appropriateness, technical feasibility, longevity, and cost. Next slide, please. So I believe Sean Webster from Copper Collective is on this call. So I think it would be great for him to introduce himself.
Yep, can you guys see me? Or I hope you can hear me at least. My name is Sean. I'm the founder of Copper Collective. I served as the creative and community liaison for this project. This project is near and dear to my heart as I grew up in this community and thrilled to be a part of something that will be lasting and really cement, young creatives' legacy here in the city of Boston. Have done a number of community art projects, murals, galleries, festivals, and activations throughout the city over the years, as well as worked with youth to make sure that they know the importance of being involved civically and creatively. Next slide, please.
Next slide, please.
In terms of getting the word out, we took to social media, was able to put together a post that went low-key viral, over 10,000, I think over 11,000 views and numerous shares and reposts. So that was a good show. We were even able to engage local community members to be a part of it, which was fun. Next slide. We also distributed pamphlets all throughout the neighborhood, knocked on doors, got involved in a number of community activations, things happening around the neighborhood. I brought them with me when I went out, on the weekend, just to make sure that we gave something physical to people to refer back to, and also pointed them to the online presence. Next slide, please. And I'm just going to speak briefly about Anny Arias Peguero. She is working until 5, so unfortunately can't join us. But Anny is a Roxbury-based artist, abstract artist, that draws inspiration from the colors, the sounds, textures, and visual identity of the community. And I'm going to pass it to Naijah next to talk about her art.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Next slide. This is still Anny.
Oh.
Oh, yep. Also Anny. Beautiful work, very textured, very colored. And now Naijah. There you are.
Hi, my name is Naijah, and I am an artist based in Boston and from Boston. I'm local. My inspirations have been my community, but mostly the disenfranchised communities of Boston, specifically in our lower income areas where infrastructure is sometimes not on the highest priority list versus our more affluent communities. However, I do feel that by helping to beautify our communities, and especially since we are a melting pot, we can definitely kind of build that bridge so that the whole city can be risen up together.
Next slide, please. And we have Kalamu joining us as well. Is Kalamu on the call? Or maybe Sean, if it's not, could you introduce Kalamu for us, please?
Hi, I'm here. I'm sorry. I couldn't
okay,
see
great.
the unmute button there. How you doing, guys? I'm Kalamu Kieta. I'm also an artist from Boston. I have a background in community work and community advocacy and organizing, youth mentorship, and I've just done a lot of different types of artwork over my career and exploration of creativity. I still live in Roxbury. I grew up in that area. So for me, it's just a really rare opportunity to give back something that's gonna last and speak to the experience of growing up in Roxbury, all that entails. I'm a multidisciplinary artist. This was a project for World AIDS Day I worked on. This was all oil and acrylic paint. I work in wood. I do wood carvings. I do structural building with wood and fabrication. I also do metal casting and fabrication. A few other things. And I'm just really excited to be part of this project.
Great. I think that's
introduce Walter as well. Can you go back one slide?
Yep.
That's Walter Clark. He is an artist that actually he taught me how to weld. So I've actually been working on a number of sculpture-based steel metal sculptural projects with him. This photo, this is a sculpture he and I worked on for a railroad track that got turned into a walking trail. And we used discarded pieces of the railroad track to create the sculpture to kind of encompass what the place, what the history of the space, where it came from, and where its current use. You can keep going. This is another piece of Walter's work. So Walter, much like myself, he does a lot of work with found objects. So all kinds of different pieces and small bits that he finds, he sees the shapes and brings it out of them. And he works primarily in metal.
Yes, and that was the last slide. With that, we would love to get the commissioner's feedback on the project. As Amber mentioned, this is the first time we've introduced the project. We're expecting to have 2 more follow-up meetings. In terms of the creative vision or the design of the objects, we're at the very early stage. So as many input that you can give for us and the artists who will be working on this project, we will love to hear your feedback so that we can come back and make the second round of reviews work for everyone. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Minku. And thank you, Sean and Naijah and Kalamu. Great to have you here with us. I open it up now to any commissioners with questions or comments.
I have some questions. Thank you for this beautiful presentation. I have 2 questions. One is the idea that these granite frames there will be 4 frames each housing work by one of the artists that you've just presented, or can you explain that? And the second question is, just to understand who the proponent is, Minku General Partner Office. Can you explain what that is?
Sure. General Partner Office is my entity. I am the designer and the project manager of the Pocket Park itself. As part of the artist selection process, we are working closely with Copper Collective, which Sean represents on this call. To go back to your art post question, we have initially proposed 6 art posts, and as we have 3 artists, we've designated 2 to each. However, there's also a discussion where the artists express their interest in collaborating and create a single piece. So I would say it's currently flexible, but the number of posts, we think 6 will be the maximum. If we want to reduce, that's also up for discussion.
So just a follow-up question, is this already a public park, or is this private property that you are working to develop into a park as part of a public benefit? Or
so Amber, if you can go back to page 4 of our presentation, where there is a map showing the current conditions.
Right.
It is currently a street, so it is covered with asphalt. Yeah, right there. There is a new condominium building built on that open lot where that tree is now.
Yeah.
That triangular piece is also still currently a wide street. We have just received the first round of funding from CPA, which we are actively designing this park with a civil engineer to submit to the PIC and start the review process with the city.
And so just one more question, not to take too much of your time, but then does it become, so right now it's just a street, but then just curious, does it then become part of the city park system? Or is it belong to the developer?
It is part of the city system. It will be maintained by the condo associate, but it will be open to public and accessible 24/7.
Okay, thank you so much, Minku.
I have a question. I know this is a long-term installation, and when we say that, are we talking about the granite slabs, or are we talking about the artwork that's going to be installed in those slabs?
My understanding is both. So the granite slabs were there as we had to provide a canvas to the artwork. The artworks in the call for artists, we have requested for a permanent piece that will be attached or molded somehow on the post that we will be providing. However, we don't we are offering more creativity in terms of how the post itself can be interpreted. So I would leave that question to the artists, and more creative discussions that will follow along, perhaps on the second meeting, where we will be presenting some sketches of what these posts would look like.
I have a question. It would be helpful to understand how art will be affixed onto the post. Specifically, I'm trying to think of how, is this solely kind of like a 2D based visual arts program that can only be attached a certain way? So kind of like the functionality of the post, and whether or not there are other exhibition styles that can be adaptive to what you're trying to do, is kind of like a question that is kind of like rising to the surface. I know there's been kind of like some glass style combination with granite for exposition. I'm thinking lighting. So I'm more so curious on the functionality of the canvas, as it were, to better understand how you position and do your calls as it pertains to the short-term or long-term existence of the project.
For the post itself, is planned as a solid granite piece that will be freestanding and have a concrete post underneath. So it will be firm and sturdy. What and how the artwork will be attached will be upon the artist's creativity and the artist's proposal. We are also quite flexible on the treatment of the post if the artwork requires it to be. So that's that's the response that I can give on the project management side of the park. But for the artwork itself, perhaps Sean or any of the artists who's part of the team, I would be happy to hear from them too.
I can chime in. I plan to affix my work to the granite with bronze studs. They won't rust. There are always issues with crevices in between materials and moisture gathering, but bronze doesn't rust. And the work I'm doing is going to be all metals. I'm going to use a combination of different metals to use the aging and the patining so that the pieces kind of come to life in place beyond just what was installed. But I'm using primarily metals. They're much more weather resistant than other materials. A lot of different metals are rust proof. So when you're with mounting, I'll have a good way to leave space for water to not get trapped. And the way, if you wouldn't mind, Amber, going back to the framed piece of Walter's, looks like a tribal mask. Yes, that one. This is very similar to how we're going to produce the work. So we're going to have metal frames that characters will be inside of, and the frame itself will be affixed to the front of the slab. But like was mentioned earlier, we have been talking with each other about trying to collaborate. So for me, what I've been kind of thinking is we got a sculptural artist, an abstract painter. I do painting and metalwork. Trying to blend, potentially anyway, because we're still exploring this, but potentially blending some of the skill sets we have and perspectives about how our own experience doing art and public art and material understandings to make sure these pieces are going to stand the test of time.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much for that specification. And I think my question, therefore, if I can reframe, is going back to the canvas, is why granite?
I didn't. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It's the reference to the milestones, because this is part of the Highland Park Architecture Conservation District. We thought that the milestones had made a strong connection and an argument to proposing art to be displayed on these posts that actually the original versions can be found in the neighborhood still. So that was part of the idea.
So I'm going to just chime back in because my first question was kind of leading to where Kenny came out in terms of how the slab was being used. And I guess my question would be is if you do have the ability, I wonder if this is permanent, so every artist's work is going to be on that slab permanently, I wonder then maybe the slab can be made in a way to be more adherable or work with the art that's going to be on it, whether it's caved in a bit, sculpted in a bit to allow for it to sit in or something. So that's where I was going with that in terms of how flexible these slabs are going to be. But I'm sure that as you have your conversations as well, you will figure out, particularly when all the artists figure out what they're going to do, how the slab would be better useful if it's going to be surfaced differently for each piece or surfaced the same.
That's a great point. We are providing almost anything. We're flexible to almost anything. So if the artists choose to do a concave or convex way of treating the posts, that's also where we can make that work. So yeah, we're flexible. Thank you.
Minky, thank you so much for all of this information that you shared, and Sean and both of the artists. Kalamu, I think what you just described was really helpful for us to understand this. I would like to ask any commissioners, because this is artist selection, and I know that we'll have many other, at least 2 other rounds, including preliminary design. So I think everything that you've commented will be helpful as Minku and those he's collaborating with can think about what to present to us for preliminary design, and we can again share some of these thoughts. So thank you all so much for your thoughtful comments. I just wanted to share that I really appreciate how much outreach you did within the community to try and attract as many applicants as possible. And I think you have a strong roster of artists, and I'm really excited to see how these projects are realized in this newly developed park. But I did want to ask any commissioners if they had any comments on the actual artists that were being selected.
I don't have any comments other than I think what we have is a great selection. So I would just want to say that out loud.
And again, commissioners, thank you for all of the sort of clarifying comments and questions that you asked. I know that it'll be helpful to this group as they begin to shape the design to share with us at the next meeting. I would like to open it up to any members of the general public who might have a question. I saw a question in the chat come in asking if these artworks will become part of the public collection. And I'm curious, Amber or Birgit, if you could answer that.
Yeah, I think we'll be reviewing this with site jurisdiction as it's a street that's becoming a park that's also part of a private development. I think we're working on like the long-term maintenance plan and accessioning. But parks is not yet involved, so it's really between our team and streets to sort of determine that, and maintenance with the proponent. So I think that's something we'll be determining prior to preliminary design.
Oh, just one part for clarification. It's not part of a private development. It's a community benefit. So it has nothing to do with the development's ownership.
Thank you, Minku, for clarifying that. That's important. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments from the public?
I think Allison has their hands raised. Let me make sure that they can. Hi, Allison, you should be able to speak now.
Thank you, Allison Pultinus, and I often go by this corner, so I'm pretty familiar with it. Just wondering again, if it's not tied to a private development, then it becomes under the jurisdiction of the Parks Department, yet the artwork would be under your, the Art Commission's, jurisdiction as far as maintenance, or maybe none of this has been determined yet.
Thanks, Allison. This is being determined. Our understanding is that Parks is not yet involved, and it's really, this is kind of a street that's becoming a park, which is an interesting situation. And often these community proposed and developed projects then will work with a proponent like Minku and the Copper Collective to develop a maintenance plan proposal
Yes.
and determine how we, if it comes into the collection or it's a long-term sort of revolving piece that is maintained through the community.
So to add to that, for clarification, it is going to be a public land maintained by the private residences next door. And that's why it is not under, we have had a review with the park. However, it was recommended to us that we have the private condo association cover the maintenance expenses of the park. And as a community benefit, that is what the developer of that condo has agreed upon. So the park has no pressure in the maintenance costs of these things, and the art, including the artwork, it will be maintained by the condo association next door. So that's the clarification that I wanted to make. It is going to be a public park maintained by the private residences.
Okay, that's very helpful. Just to follow up, whether recommendations from the MOAC staff could be incorporated for the long-term maintenance, because otherwise the condo association could be a little bewildered about how to maintain artwork. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Allison. And I think our project manager, Amber Torres, who's been facilitating this, is going to circle back with this team. We sometimes in these cases, there's like a memorandum of understanding, just so everybody knows what the arrangement is as far as responsibility. And that's something we can collaborate on.
Allison, thanks so much for your questions. Any other members of the public with a question or a comment? Well, hearing none, commissioners, today we are voting on the artist selection. So if you all are in agreement, if one of you might propose a motion to approve the artist selection for community art posts, I'd appreciate it.
John, I would like to make a motion to approve the artist selection for the community art post.
Thanks so much, James. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Caitlin. After I say your name, please say yes, Commissioner, if you agree with the motion. James,
Yes.
Caitlin,
Yes.
Kenny,
Yes.
Abigail,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. The motion passes. Congratulations, Naijah, Kalamu, and Anny. Excited to see this project develop further. And just to share, and I know you'll work with Amber on this, Minku, but when you bring preliminary design, a lot of these questions about how these artworks will be affixed to these posts is going to be something that we're going to look closely at. So as much information as you can provide in the next time you come before this panel, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's very clear. We'll prepare that point for the next presentation. Thank you.
And just to clarify,
you.
it'll be for the final design presentation that
Oh,
will go
final
into
design. I'm so
detail.
sorry, Amber.
Sorry, no pressure. We will be focused on design for sure, and we will have more to present to you.
Thanks for
Yes.
clarifying that, Amber.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you all.
everyone. Our next project for deliberation is Sonic Titan. And Amanda, I am passing this off to you.
Thank you, James. Today we are excited to welcome 2 new murals to our city's public art collection. This first mural up for accessioning is sited at the entrance of New Mission High School. Next slide, please. Sonic Titan by Boston-based artist Joseph Wardwell is a site-specific mural that transforms the school's entry foyer, extending across the walls, arches, and ceiling with vibrant color bands and dynamic gradients. The work is carefully integrated with the building's architecture and incorporates bold text reflecting the school's core values of tenacity, integrity, tolerance, nurture, and academic excellence. creating a welcoming and inspiring environment for students, faculty, staff, and the broader community. The mural was created using a silica-based paint system, selected for its durability, color stability, and projected lifespan of over 15 years. It is in a very active entryway as all the students are brushing up against the walls and kind of coming in the morning. So the artist made extra care. Sonic Titan is painted directly onto the interior plaster surface of the school's main entrance and is protected with a clear sealant to enhance durability in this high traffic environment. Routine care consists of visual inspection twice annually in the spring and fall to identify any signs of damage or fading. And this will be between MOAC and Boston Public Schools facilities. We'll be checking in biannually. Graffiti, if present, should be removed promptly using manufacturer-approved cleaning methods with the paint Joe has selected. The mural can be gently hand washed with water as needed to remove any surface dirt or dust. And a professional condition assessment is recommended every 5 years for all of these projects to monitor the long-term condition of the artwork and identify any care needs, in which we would contact Joseph and BPS. Joseph has also provided MOAC with the design files for the smaller bands of text, should there be any touch-ups needed, and has done a thorough job of passing along all of his material details here. Right.
Thanks, Amanda. Commissioners, does anyone have a question or a comment about the accessioning of Sonic Titan?
I just want to say that it looks incredibly striking from these images. So I hope the students are enjoying it and will enjoy it for many years.
I wish I included a photo of the white blank walls beforehand to really show the impact. But that's in our past meetings. But yes, agreed.
Any other commissioners? Okay, then. Anyone in the general public have any questions or comments about the accessioning of Sonic Titan? We're all quiet here. So with that being said, does any commissioner want to make a motion to accept the accessioning of Sonic Titan at New Mission High School?
Sure, James. I move to accession Sonic Titan at New Mission High School into the Boston Public Art Collection.
Thank you, John. Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
Thank you, Abigail. Commissioners, when I call your name, please say yes. John?
Yes.
Caitlin?
Yes.
Kenny?
Yes.
Abigail?
Yes.
I am a yes as well. Great to have another piece accessioned.
All right.
And moving right along, our next project for deliberation is Star Gatherers. And once again, Amanda, I'm passing this off to you.
Thank you so much. We had a preview of the finished Star Gatherers earlier, and I'm so excited to show you all more images. So the next work up for accessioning today is located at the Josiah Quincy Elementary School. Star Gatherers is a site-specific mural by New York-based artist Yuke created for the school's lower play deck. Through colorful scenes of children exploring nature, science, music, sports, and friendship, the mural celebrates discovery, learning, and belonging while reflecting the school's core values of focus, integrity, respect, and empathy. The 360-degree panoramic mural is located in a heavily used space for outdoor play, school drop-offs and pickups, and public use as well. So it is enjoyed by the community every day. So yeah, this is one side of the mural, and we have a couple other photos, a little closer up details. But it has truly transformed the space outside here. The mural was really shaped by community input gathered through a survey of local participants whose responses really emphasized the themes that you guys presented here of nature, learning, local identity, and the bright colors as well were selected specifically to bring more vibrancy to the space and also not kind of clash with the existing artwork and murals. So she integrated some of the same color palette. And onto the maintenance plan, Star Gatherers is painted directly onto exterior wall surfaces using the concrete surfaces using durable exterior paint. Maintenance includes regular visual inspections, graffiti removal using approved cleaning methods, and gentle annual cleaning. Any touch-ups or major conservation work should be completed by a qualified mural conservator or the original artist. So we would contact her in the case of that. Any standing water, surrounding vegetation, abrasive cleaners, or heavy power washing should be avoided to protect the artwork per the artists. And then if you see here, Yuke has provided all the paints and paint colors if we ever need to do touch-ups. So and now I'm happy to answer any questions or hear comments about this work.
Commissioners, does anyone have a question or comment about the accessioning of Star Gatherers?
I'd just like to add a comment that how much I appreciate the integration with the existing mural, which is kind of an iconic site as you pass through that area. So kudos.
And I just wanted to add that I think it's a beautiful mural, and how lucky for those kids who get to go to school there. It seems to embody childhood in its fullest. It's really vibrant and happy, and yeah, it's just lovely. So yeah.
I just want to add that Yuki's here with us on the meeting, and Yuki, I made you a panelist in case you want to add anything to this presentation.
I just want to thank you, Amanda, for the really great presentation. And I think you covered everything.
Great. Thank you so much,
And
Yuki.
Yuki, we want to thank you for such a striking, vibrant mural that I hope many in the school I know will enjoy. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm very honored.
Are there any more comments from commissioners? Are there any comments or questions from the general public? Very well. Is there a commissioner who wishes to make a motion about the accessioning of the Star Gatherers at the Osiah Quincy Elementary School?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the acquisition of Star Gatherers at the Josiah Quincy Elementary School.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, both Abigail and Caitlin. Commissioners, when I call your name as we vote, say yes when I call your name. John?
Yes.
Caitlin?
Yes.
Kenny?
Yes.
Abigail?
Yes.
And I am a yes as well. So Yuke, I'd like to congratulate you. Having witnessed from the first proposal to the acquisition of this art, it's really great to witness this. And once again, congratulations to you. And all who helped. The motion carries, by the way.
Yeah. Thanks, James. Our next project for deliberation is For the Dreamers at the Mattahunt Elementary School in Mattapan. And Amanda, once again, I pass to you.
Thank you, John. I'm pleased to introduce Boston-based artist Ayana Mack, who will be presenting the final design for a new mural at Mattahunt Elementary School. Created for the school's central cafeteria gathering space as part of a Canvas of Culture program, For the Dreamers is a large-scale mural that celebrates the history, culture, and future of Mattapan, while creating an inspiring environment for students and the broader school community. I'll now pass things over to Ayana to walk you through her design process and her visuals. Thanks for being here, Ayana.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm excited to be here and present to you all today. So my name's Ayana Mack. I am a local multidisciplinary artist, born and raised here. And a lot of my work is centered around storytelling and using art as a tool for healing. So a lot of the work that I've done is centered around things that I've noticed in community as somebody growing up in Boston, and just different ways. I've done different workshops, and I've shared my work in galleries across the city, and really use my work as a tool to really tell stories that are honest and beautiful and bright. I've exhibited in spaces like the Multicultural Arts Center in Cambridge, Artists for Humanity, and other places around the community. I've also done a lot of public art work, partnered on projects. I've begun doing a lot of my own large scale work. So I'm excited to share this with you all. Next slide, please. So for the Dreamers, I am very excited about this. I'm born and raised here, but I am a lifelong resident of Mattapan. Like, I've lived in Mattapan since I was 6 years old, and it is a community that is so special to me. And what I wanted to share with this mural and the connection to the Mattahunt was really celebrating not only the history, but the story and the joy within learning in schools, and just what happens when you honor and celebrate community and carry that into education in the way that students look at things, how they, their level of hope, their level of culture, really just bringing all of these connections together in a way that feels really good, and that young people and people of all ages will understand. So the landmarks that I highlight throughout this mural, and I will talk more about, are the Rise sculpture that welcomes you into Mattapan, a staple church in the neighborhood, as well as the Greenway and the trolley, really honoring nature, green space, as well as transportation through the city. Next slide, please. So the project site, it's an interior mural. It's going to be in the cafeteria, so a high traffic area. I am planning to paint it directly on the wall. It's a 53-foot wall, so it's pretty long. I'm excited for it. And yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about it. Next slide. So for community engagement, I worked alongside a lot of meetings with the teachers, the dual language program in the school. I collaborated with another muralist who is working in the school too. So we had a lot of like collective conversations around what their like mission is, their vision, and really what they, what they want to see. But alongside that, I also did my own site visit, walked through the school, met tons of teachers, really got a feel for the space, the wall, the way students and people move through the school, as well as just the setup, to really just get an understanding, not just visually, but what does it feel like? And that went into my thought process and concept. So when the project does conclude, we're hoping to do an unveiling just to really give folks insight on where this came from, similar to this conversation, as well as just opening it up to the public and really using that as a space to highlight, celebrate, and make people known about the Mattahunt if they aren't familiar with it. Next slide, please. So this is a digital rendering of the concept. So the goal of this, and really is like telling this story from the left part of the mural. It begins the Rise sculpture by Fern Cunningham Terry, leading you not only into Mattapan Square, but into this mural. And the shot of the church that is behind is a shot going up Blue Hill Ave. I walk up Blue Hill Ave all the time. It's a very, if you walk up, this is a very familiar image. You can see the light posts. And then the images of the flowers, those flowers are all representative of the cultures that are in Mattapan. So the Caribbean folks, from Jamaican, national flowers, excuse me. So Jamaican, like hibiscus, we have like African-American representation, Haitian representation, along with the church as well. This young, beautiful girl, she is swinging from her community into the school space, right? Into learning, smiling with her friends and community. So really utilizing this as an opportunity to celebrate the joy of learning, right? And movement. And it's also moving into the Neponse River Greenway trail, which I personally love and is, I feel like it's a little secret if people are not familiar with it, but it's such a beautiful trail that takes you from Mattapan into Dorchester and highlighting the trolley, which is historic and celebrates what we know in Mattapan, but also really just transportation. And for me, transportation is another conversation, but the importance of transportation is the ability to move from one place to another in the city. So that was an important piece, not just for me, but really for the students. Like the goal was for them to be able to look at this and be like, oh, we know what this is. This is Mattapan Square. This is a trolley. Oh, what's the Greenway? Excuse me, the Greenway Trail. And then as you end the mural, you have this young woman looking up and really dreaming, right? Thinking a lot about hope and possibility and looking out into the future, right? So this visually is a lot of movement, affinity symbol, moving from one point to another, celebrating community, the joy of young people, as well as this really, this bright visual image of hope in the future. Next slide, please. And this is a sketch, like a hand-drawn rendering on the wall that, that we have here, just to see a little bit of scale. Next slide. And so just to give even more context, this is my artistic style. So I gave you guys a piece of everything, right? So now we're going to what this is going to look like when it's applied to a wall. So closer to my dreams is a mural I did in 2024 on Mother Caroline Academy. So that's really giving you an idea of what my painting style looks like when applied to an interior exterior wall. The center images are all of my studio pieces. So now you're really getting to see color. You're going to see texture, a lot of what I like to include in my work. And then the last one was the top right corner is a paint box, piece paint box that I did in the program that you all offer in MOAC. So you can again see my work applied in different ways, just to give more context to what this final piece is going to look like. Next slide. So the install schedule, the timeline is going to be the month of August. The goal is really to get this done over the month, collaborating with facilities and just coordinate their evenings and while students are out of school. Next slide, sorry. So the fabrication plan. So with projects like this for me, I build everything up layered, right? So I begin with, there are different ways you can do it, but I begin by projecting it and really focusing on materials that are high quality, very durable. I work with the vendors that we use are out of Sherwin-Williams. So I've been connecting with them on a really good interior grade product. There are two options. There's Emerald Symmetry Interior Acrylic or the Duration Home Interior Acrylic. So that's something I'm just kind of choosing between. But those are both really great options. For many years, I've worked with them on interior and exterior works. I also plan to use the Montana Gold Black and 94 brand of aerosol. So this is going to be a combination of brush paint and aerosol paint that will be used. And I don't plan to do an additional protective coating as it's going to be inside. Yep, next slide. And the equipment, because this is inside and the wall is only 9.5 feet tall, I plan to just use ladders. And really, as I set up a project, I make sure I protect the space. So I set up drop cloths and plastic, all of those things to just really make sure that paint isn't getting all over the place. Materials for interior works, buckets, paint brushes, all of those materials will be used. And I do not plan to have any assistance. So this is something that I will be completing solely myself. And as for site preparation, the bottom of that wall has about over like 10 outlets. So I'm working with facilities to figure out a plan on how to make sure we are working with them to either paint around, paint over. So we're figuring some of those details out. So we're in the process of working on that and thinking about the primer color, some small things. Next slide. And as for maintenance, excuse me, just biannually, the folks at BPS will continue to check. And it will be assessed as normal. If there are any issues, then, not necessarily issues, excuse me, it can be wiped down. It's gonna be very simple to care for. And if there are any big things that come up, I'm available to, I can be available to make edits and updates as needed. Next slide. Oh, okay.
Ayana, thank you so much. Really appreciate it, you sharing this work with us. Commissioners, does anyone have any comments or questions?
Nice to see you again, Ayana. Always love your work,
Thank you.
and especially your use of colors and textures. So the rendering has really me excited. And even the the hand-drawn rendering as well. So I'm excited for you to get to splash all that color on that wall. So thank you for your time, your design, and I'm excited to see the final work.
Wonderful, thank you.
Any other commissioners? Ayana, I really appreciated you walking us through sort of the story of the mural from left to right and how you were envisioning it. I think it's a really striking design, and much like Kenny, I think those splashes of color that you'll add will bring a lot to the room. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I now open it up to any members of the public who might have a comment or would like to ask a question. Well, with that, would any commissioner like to make a motion to approve final design of For the Dreamers?
I move to approve final design for the Dreamers mural.
Thanks, Caitlin. Could I have a second?
I second that motion.
Thanks, Kenny. Commissioner, please say yes if you agree with the motion. James?
Yes.
Caitlin?
Yes.
Kenny?
Yes.
Abigail?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Congratulations, Ayana. Really excited to see this come to life.
Awesome, thank you so much.
And our next project for deliberation is Peace Polls. And I pass to Amber Torres for an introduction.
Thank you. For the past 4 years, Ruth Henry has been an artist in residence at the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute, where she has worked alongside Survivor Ambassador Alexis Smith and the Generation Peace team to develop a pilot peace trail along the route of the annual Mother's Day Walk for Peace. We are delighted to welcome Peace Polls back to the Boston Art Commission for the 4th year with DeAndre's Full Armor Pole by Paige Townsend. The first of 4 peace poles being erected this year, with 3 other peace poles currently under review by our team. Our office has also supported the project through a monument and the Neighborhood and Downtown Activation Grant, and look forward to the growth and evolution of this program. Next, thank you. The Peace Trail is a growing network of memorial artworks that transform loss into healing through art, honoring victims of violence while inviting communities to reflect on love, unity, faith, hope, courage, justice, and forgiveness. With the support of the National Endowment for the Arts, new legacy poles by survivor artists, including Paige Townsend, continue this work by engaging community members in creating collaborative public art that honors loved ones and calls in peace. Paige Townsend's pole, honoring her brother DeAndre Townsend, celebrates all 7 peace principles. It'll be installed on the pole at 690 Washington Street in front of the Codman Square Library. Each installation, all the peace poles, are about 40 inches in diameter and 84 inches high. DeAndre's pole, in particular, will incorporate ceramic tiles joined into mosaic panels on a cement backer board and set within an aluminum frame. The design for DeAndre's peace pole is on the right of the screen. The most comparable or similar art project or past peace pole is the love pole on the farthest left. You'll also see a courage pole and a unity pole as well from past years. For DeAndre's poll, community members will create tiles featuring animated characters and healing symbols that will be fired and assembled into the mosaic panels wrapping the pole. The Peace Institute has completed seasonal maintenance checks and repairs on all Peace Trail poles to date and will continue to do so with these new poles as well. And before I wrap up, I do know that Ruth and Paige are here today, so I'd love to invite you, if you have anything to add, to be a panelist, please let us know. Thank you.
Ruth or Paige, I'm curious if you wanted to share anything with us.
I just want to say thank you to Amber for a wonderful presentation, and thank you to MOAC for continuing to support the Space Trail and help us bring the principles of peace to the streets. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ruth. Commissioners, I open it up for any comments or questions that you may have.
I'll just say that I really appreciate the unusual format of this kind of street installation. It's refreshing and striking. So thank you for that to the artists.
I definitely second that. I think they're visually striking and also bring a certain amount of reflection for people who walk by them, particularly when they learn more about these projects. So Ruth, thank you for all your work, and Paige, excited to see how this is realized.
Can I ask a question, and maybe I've missed this? Are there 3 that have been done so far, and is there a plan for how many? Like, is there a hope to spread these all over the city, and to what extent? Do we know that?
I can speak to what knowledge I have. I know Ruth is currently across the country continuing this amazing work in Compton, so I'm not sure if she can, Phil, if you can add her back as a panelist, she might have more to add. What I do know is that this is a pilot Peace Trail that has been in development over the years. There have been more than 3 created over the last 4 years. But I'll hand it to Ruth to talk about the vision.
Hi, yes, we have currently 11 poles that are up across Dorchester, Roxbury, and Roslindale. And as Amber mentioned, we're out here in Compton now on a National Endowment for the Arts funded exchange, trying to bring the Peace Trail out here as well. We do have, in addition to Paige, we have 6 other survivor-led legacy poles going up over the course of the next couple of years across 2026 and 2027, also funded by the National Endowment for the Arts. So the idea is for this to continue to grow.
Amazing. Thank you.
I also have a question in terms of how have the other versions of the polls survive weather time, and if there's any learnings in terms of maintenance that will be brought into this iteration of the process. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Kenny. We did do some learning along the first pilot trail, which was the first 7 polls that we did. There were a couple of techniques that we shifted and adjusted over time, such as making sure that we used only marine grade wood going forward. But the past 4 polls and all future going polls are all based on materials and construction and fabrication techniques that have withstood weather well.
Thanks, Ruth. I now want to open it up to any members of the public who might have a comment or would like to ask a question. Well, I now invite any commissioner who might like to make a motion to approve Paige Townsend's Peace Pole project.
I'd like to move to approve,
I guess, final design,
final design for the Peace Poles project.
Do I have a second?
You do. I second that.
Thanks so much, James. Commissioners, after I say your name, say yes if you agree with the motion. James,
Yes.
Caitlin,
Yes.
Kenny,
Abstain.
Abigail,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. The motion passes. Ruth, Paige, thank you so much for bringing this to us and excited to see this realized. And now our final project for deliberation tonight is Better Angels. And Amber, I pass to you for an introduction.
Thank you. This is a familiar organization to the commission, I'm sure. The Boston Public Art Triennial first approached the public art team about Better Angels earlier this spring, and over the past couple of months, we have been in communication with the Parks Department and the Disabilities Commission to review the proposed installation, keeping in mind accessibility, public safety, and potential conflict of recurring events such as the Boston Farmers Market. As you know, Copley Square was also recently renovated. We have a few long-term commissions coming to the park soon. And it's a highly accessible park. So it's been a really tricky site for temporary projects. However, after the last couple of months in careful review, Parks has determined that Better Angels is well suited not only for Copley Square Park, but also Christopher Columbus Park. Next slide. Better Angels is a traveling large-scale public artwork by Boston-based conceptual artist Heather Kapplow that will pop up across Boston's iconic parks, plazas, and public spaces through October 2026. Better Angels is a playful invitation for viewers to envision their best selves with the fellow participant out as witness, offering moments of grace when we fall short. During a time of national division and reflection on the aspirations of our nation's founding, campy inflatable gates, clouds, and a cast of angels will humorously, yet earnestly, remind visitors that democracy has always required us to navigate profound disagreement and strive together toward ideals beyond our lifetime. Heather Kapplow is a self-trained conceptual artist based in the USA. Kapplow creates participatory experiences using installation, sound objects, text, engagement, other strategies to convert audiences into collaborators in complex, hard-to-answer questions into tenderly co-held things, invested with transformative collective care. The Boston Public Art Triennial is the city's first and only public art organization dedicated to supporting artists and communities in bold, contemporary public art with annual artwork commissions and an every 3-year citywide exhibition. The Triennial's mission is to foster relationships between artists and the public and to create bold public art experiences that open minds, conversations, and spaces across Boston, resulting in a more open, equitable, and vibrant city. This artwork will be on display at Christopher Columbus Waterfront Park on Friday, August 21st, 2026, and on Saturday, August 22nd, 2026. Then it'll be on display at Copley Square Park on Wednesday, September 2nd, and Thursday, September 3rd. So write those down in your calendars. You'll definitely want to experience it. Next slide. The gates are comprised of 2 pieces that are 10.5 feet tall, 15 feet long, and 5 feet wide. The clouds are comprised of 3 pieces that are 13 feet tall, 15.5 feet long, and 10 feet wide. The footprint, including the ADA mats, will be about 70 feet long and 40 feet wide, and this will vary slightly depending on the site, but that's the general footprint. The artwork is made of a PVC fabric that's UV rated for constant 12 months of exposure, and all the electrical components are going to be waterproof and weatherproof. And the Triennial team is also going to be reactive to extreme weather, and I'll talk more about that in a second. The inflatable components of the artwork are designed to be pushed, touched, interacted with by the public. The ballast weight will ensure that they do not fall or injure passerby up to a specific wind load, and they've worked closely with their fabricators on that as well. If the weather or the wind does pose danger, the artwork can be deflated within 10 minutes. ADA mats and cable ramps will be utilized to provide access and minimize trip hazards, and at a minimum, 4 performers. That includes performer facilitators is what the Triennial calls them. That includes 1 St. Peter figure and then 3 public art ambassadors. They will all be on site, and they're going to receive training and rehearse for how to deal with any uncomfortable interactions or extreme weather. The artwork was produced by Newhouse, an artist-owned New England-based inflatable fabricator. And the Triennial team and install contractors have been consulting on this project throughout. They have been doing, and they will do, I don't know if it's happened yet. Sorry, I can confirm with the Triennial, training at a warehouse in Providence to make sure that the whole team is prepared. And last but not least, the last order of business that I worked out with the Parks Department by request of the Triennial team was suggestions about overnight security. So they do plan on hiring overnight security because a lot of, especially on the grass, the ADA mats, we'll want to keep those in place just for the next day. So they're looking at having security start around 8 o'clock or 9 p.m. Until the morning, until the next display. I'm not sure if any of the Triennial team members are here today, but I am going to conclude there and open it up for commissioners.
Thanks so much, Amber. For me, just to confirm, the ballasts are weighting down these inflatables, so it's not that it's affixed to anything necessarily in the ground, but it's those ballasts that are holding these inflatables up, correct?
Is your question about whether there's any anchoring into the grass?
Yeah, the anchoring is just the weight that's sort of built into the inflatable, correct?
That's true, yes.
Okay, great, thank you. Any other commissioners? Don't all speak at once.
Yeah, can you remind me, Amber, the security component and where it's coming from? What's the concern?
Yeah, for the grass site, the Triennial has always strived to make even their artwork on grass sites accessible to folks in wheelchairs, which I've always appreciated. In order to have the art on display 2 days in a row, they want to keep the mats in place. So they've asked Parks for advice on how to hire security. It's something they've done with City Hall Plaza. So Adela Goldbard had a presentation or a performance at City Hall Plaza last year. And so there's this practice of how do we get security for these large exhibitions that are going to be unmonitored or could be unmonitored. And I'm actually really invested in following up with the team. It's a little early per Parks's advice, but a month out from the exhibition, we'll have that secured. Does that answer your question?
Yes, so to clarify, it's more so that people don't get hurt, but not because they want to protect how or command how people interact with the artwork. That's what I'm trying to understand.
Yeah.
The point of security. Is it to police in a way how people interact with the artwork, or is it more so a function of making sure that people don't trip over the mechanism itself?
That's a really good question. I think I failed to stress that this artwork is going to come down. I might have mentioned it, but I do want to stress it is going to be deflated at the end of the night. What is going to be watched is really just the ADA mats and the setup. So I can't speak for the Triennial. I could try to get more clarity. I know that they have done this once already in the Seaport, and the way that it was framed to me is that there were lessons learned, particularly about just protecting the artwork and covering things from rain, water. That was one of the learnings. So I can't speak to exactly what the particular concern is, but I know it's because things will still be in place and just wanting it to be watched. But I'm happy to follow up with the commission and get clarity on that.
And Kenny, just to add to that, the mat, it's that zigzag visible in this picture. It's just in the grass. And we did visit the installation at Atlantic Wharf, and it just allows for people, as Amber said, in wheelchairs to access the grass and kind of move through the installation. So I think they're just concerned about those getting moved around at night.
Yes, and power as well.
Yeah.
Any other commissioner questions? I'm curious if any members of the public have a question or would like to make a comment. Well, with that, would any commissioner like to approve, excuse me, would any commissioner like to make a motion to approve Bitter Angels, this temporary project by Heather Kapplow? Anyone? Do we need to talk more? Are we on the fence on this?
Bye, Mom. Sorry, I have a toddler who's intruded the meeting space where I am, so that's why I got quiet. It's 6 o'clock, it's dinner time, and the wheels are coming off at my house. So I apologize. I can make a motion to approve the Better Angels temporary sculpture final design.
Thanks so much, Caitlin. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thanks, Abigail. Commissioners, say yes if you agree with the motion. James?
I'm trying to think if I'm approving or improving, John, but I'll go with yes.
Caitlin?
Yes.
Kenny?
Same as James. I still have curiosities, but I'm pro inflatables in the public here, so yes.
Abigail?
I'll say yes.
And I vote yes as well, so the motion passes. Very much appreciate that. And again, commissioners, if there are more conversations that need to be had for certain projects before we move to motions, feel free, obviously, to bring them up, but I know it is 6 o'clock, so. But I think it will be an interesting installation, so appreciate and thank you. Our last order of business for today is adjournment. Would any commissioner like to make a motion to adjourn?
I think every time you say that, you're talking to me, so I will make a motion to adjourn.
Thanks, James, taking the bait. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Thanks, Caitlin. After I say your name, commissioner, say yes if you agree. James?
Yes.
Caitlin?
Yes.
Kenny?
Yes.
Abigail?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. Okay, Caitlin, run, feed your family.
Thank you. It's getting dicey over here. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And thank you all, commissioners, and Amber, Heather, Amanda, thank you all so much, Birgit, for your work, and MOAC staff, and Phil, really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
Thank you all so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good
Thanks,
night.
everyone.